Welcome to Snyder's Inc., where the fun never ends. Reactions, gaming, and more with Josh as your friend. Tune in, buckle up, it's a ride you don't wanna miss. Snyder's Inc., let's dive in, feel the ultimate bliss.
Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc., and today we got a wrestling reaction coming for you. I decided to do a wrestling reaction on this channel. The other one will be a Mr. Ball one, or that one will come later because I had to. I gonna be a long one, and I'm expecting someone to come visit me, so I can't really, do that. I can't do that. So this one will probably be not as long, but you never know with me. This is the 10 greatest SummerSlam builds in WWE history. And we go get right into this, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, stick down below. Let's go.
If this list was released 2 weeks from now, I can tell you as a certainty that the top spot would be occupied by Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. It's not very often that we...
Well, I don't know whether the SummerSlam match itself that these two had, I wouldn't be sure on that, Jay. That match kind of dropped the ball on what it should have been. I know Roman was injured very early into the match, but there was still more they could have done, and that match is a very dropped ball.
See a SummerSlam story be on the receiving end of an all-time epic build, the kind usually reserved for WrestleMania. A lot of the time in recent years, the SummerSlam card would be thrown together before the show without much thought, despite being WWE's second biggest show of the year. This, of course, is your notification that you won't be seeing matches like Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler during the next 11 minutes. However, when WWE has a clear goal in mind, they can give us a SummerSlam build that would indeed convince you that this is the WrestleMania of the summer. Here's to more positive lists. I'm Tempest, hailing from parts unknown, and these are the 10 greatest SummerSlam builds in WWE history. But before we get on with our list, make sure, of course, that you like this video if you haven't already, and make sure you're subscribed to Parts Unknown. We are oh so close to our 250,000 subscriber goal, where we're going to be playing a 4-player MyGM mode in WWE 2K23. You won't want to miss it, so get us to 250,000 today.
I think they've passed that, but also hit subscribe button for me. I'm just trying to get to 500. That's all I need. I need to get 5. I'm at 434. I need 500. Give me there. Help me. Come on. Do it. Please.
Honorable mention Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville, 2020. Misses out on the list for really no other reason than being part of the bad times, because somehow the comedy love triangle of Otis, Dolph Ziggler, and Mandy Rose, plus Sonya Deville meddling, led to one of the best storylines of the year for WWE, culminating in a loser-leave WWE match at SummerSlam between the former Fire and Desire. It's just a shame that the year in question was the one no one will ever willingly go back and rewatch. Number 10, Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston, 2019. We begin with the butt.
Yeah, I guess because this is the build too, right? So it doesn't count the match itself. The build to this was good because it was based off of something that happened 10 years beforehand. And it was Randy Orton, the stupid thing that happened on an episode of Raw in 2009 when Kofi messed up something.
WWE Championship match from SummerSlam 2019 between Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton. I mean, it's not their fault this match is a bullshit count-out finish only designed to stretch out this story for a rematch, because the story behind this match deserves so much more. Such is the story with much of Kofi's reign, really. Anyway, positivity. In 2009, Kofi Kingston looked poised to be a new top guy. He ruined Randy Orton's new car, was the sole survivor of a pretty good elimination match, and boom dropped Randy through a table at Madison Square Garden. Everything's looking up, right? Well, then Orton beat him at TLC, shouted stupid when Kofi forgot the finish of a Raw match, and bada bing bada boom, back to the mid-card for another decade you go, Kofi. Fast forward to 2019, and Orton was consistently a roadblock in Kofi's way to get to WrestleMania, and then stood in his way again at SummerSlam, serving as the perfect final boss for Kofi Kingston's unique story. Is all that linear and told on purpose? No, but it aids the story, and wrestling is about adapting, so as far as I'm concerned, this SummerSlam had a 10-year build, and I won't hear otherwise. Number 9, Team WWE versus The Nexus.
Oh, it's one of those matches that he's got trouble thinking about negativity, avoiding negativity. Because this match is bullshit. This match itself, now okay, we're talking about the build. So the build to this was good. The match is bullshit. You love John Cena, you loved this match. You loved it. You didn't like John Cena. Ooh, this match gave you more of a reason not to. Oh, this match is so bad. Why did you have to do this, John? Why'd you have to do this?
2010. It may be becoming apparent that a stellar build does not a great match guarantee. However, let's take that negativity and put it right in the dumpster, and instead focus on the imagination-capturing run of the Nexus from June of 2010 until that infamous match at SummerSlam. So few times have there ever been such an instance of WWE getting an instant influx of new stars all at once. And unfortunately, even rarer are the times that has worked out, but you stay in that dumpster negativity. The former rookies of Season 1 of NXT arrived at the end of Raw, Viewer's Choice, and wreaked havoc and continued to do so in the coming weeks and months, taking out legends like Bret Hart, Ricky Steamboat, like the heinous bastards they are, and also Vince McMahon. Maybe they didn't need stopping. Everyone was into this shit. And John Cena's shaky recruitment of his fellow WWE stars, friend and foe, kept tension up until the very final Raw, when the crowd was so amped up for the teams to fight that the camera was literally shaking. I mean, not how WWE usually shakes their cameras, like a good shake. Number 8, Seth Rollins vs. Edge, 2021. When Edge...
This is one of the feuds that I've seen get mixed when it came to build. People were very iffy on this storyline. But, yeah, you knew these two were going to have a great storyline. Them two are just naturally meant to fight each other. It just was meant to happen that way. It always was. These two are meant to feud against each other.
Edge returned to WWE in 2020. There were loads of names people fantasy booked him to face. The name at the top of virtually everyone's list, Seth Rollins. On one hand, Seth was perhaps WWE's best in-ring performer at the time. On the other, there was that time he tried to literally murder Edge. Yeah, I think they may have had some unfinished business. In 2014, the Authority was booted from WWE by Sting and John Cena's team at Survivor Series, and that lasted all of 1 month because WWE is a stupid company. God, it's like, it's in my veins! It's negativity fighting its way out. Maybe I'm the problem. As we found ourselves in 2021, Seth felt that Edge had cut in line for a shot at the Universal Championship, and at Money in the Bank cost Edge said shot. Now that they had a reason to be fighting, Edge started to really get to Seth, calling him Edge Light and demanding he take the next step and be more than he was. I love storylines about wrestlers being similar and letting any
And the thing I love about it is Edge, because these two, this is one of those matches that had a good feud, and a good match. These two really had to have good chemistry with each other. Who's surprised by that? These two are just meant to fight each other. They were meant to do this battle.
Anger or anxiety about those similarities drive the story. And thankfully, this build actually gave us a great match. Number 7, SummerSlam 2005. On paper, SummerSlam 2005 I think is the best SummerSlam ever. That card is stacked, loaded with excellently built matches and also Angle vs. Eugene.
Would you get out of here?
SummerSlam 05 has the quadruple feature of the excellently soap opera.
Isn't that it's just a whole year? Because except for like Batista and JBL, you forget that match exists, and Angle Eugene. Yeah, the two other matches, those only two matches, but like, yeah, I guess technically they're all good builds to most storylines on this damn one.
From Mysterio family custody battle, the blisteringly blurred lines of Matt Hardy and Edge's love triangle with Lita, the increasingly ridiculousness of The Undertaker's year-long rivalry with Randy Orton, and quite possibly the most entertaining promo work of Shawn Michaels' second WWE run, building up his climactic match with Hulk Hogan. HBK's heel run in the summer of 05 was a thing of beauty. The heel turn on Hogan, the Larry King parody, and, of course, Who's Your Daddy, Montreal? It is a loaded show, and I haven't even mentioned the world title matches. Best ever on paper. If only there weren't little things wrong with the big matches.
Hey!
Number 6, Edge vs. The Undertaker.
I love this match more than probably any build. I don't even know the build. I don't remember the build. I remember this match. This match was amazing. I love this Hell in a Cell match. It's one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches of all time.
2008. Okay, 2008. Surely I can't be negative about that. The Undertaker's feud with Edge was over a year long, beginning when Edge was a sneaky little sausage and cashed in Money in the Bank on Zombie Joe in May 2007 before tormenting him until WrestleMania and beyond. By the summer of 2008, Edge and Vicky Guerrero had forcibly removed the dead man from the company, but then Edge cheated on his woman and she made him fight an immortal wizard in a box. That's That's why you stay faithful, lads. The SummerSlam 08 pay-per-view cycle was loaded with fantastic character work from Edge, who one could classify as deranged, singling out Mick Foley to tell him what he needed to do to succeed inside Hell in a Cell, given Foley's history with the Stip, with Undertaker, and with Edge. Foley told Edge that he needed to look within himself and find the edge that had speared him through a flaming table and made him say that he was the best wrestler in the world, otherwise Undertaker would tear him apart. Edge accepted this constructive criticism and killed Mick Foley, sending him to the hell that was TNA. I mean, that is sadistic. It's not negativity if it's aimed at TNA. The whole build was incredibly psychological, with Edge at the forefront, one of the best storytellers of his time. Number 5, CM Punk vs. Jeff Hardy, 2009. Nowhere.
This is another thing of two men meant to fight each other. Jeff Hardy and CM Punk were meant to feud with each other. Knowing Jeff's history and his past and his issues with substance abuse against straight edge, complete asshole CM Punk, this was two men who were meant to feud with each other. They were meant to battle. They were meant to go to war, and it's fucking incredible.
Where in the contract does it say, under any circumstances, do not cash in on Jeff Hardy? That has always been one of my favorite quotes of this excellent rivalry. It perfectly encapsulates why the first WWE heel turn of CM Punk was so effective. It's a much slower heel turn than people remember, taking almost a full month before his turn is solidified after cashing in on Jeff Hardy at Extreme Rules. Punk was prepared to keep his morals because, in reality, he didn't do anything wrong. He just happened to step on someone more beloved than he was. Thus, the constant vitriol from the fans eventually had Punk lean in and say, alright, f*** you, I don't want to be a hero to you anyway. But even still, while definitely much more of a cock than he was previously, he still wasn't telling lies. That's his thing now, right? Punk was living a clean lifestyle while Jeff Hardy was a quote-unquote free spirit, and yeah, one of those is safer and healthier for sure, but like, stop being a dick about it. The best kind of heel work. A dick, but right. The rivalry of the year for 2009 culminated in the main event of SummerSlam in a fantastic TLC match, and by the time we reached it, Punk was a shadow of his former, more respective self. Now an angry, self-righteous, vengeful version of himself, having completed one of the best character arcs of any wrestler of the time. Number 4, Bret Hart vs. Owen Hart, 1994. Boy, does WWE love them a brother versus brother.
Bret and Owen's like the only good brother versus brother rivalry to happen. But and tell me otherwise. Them two are the only two that have had a feud that actually works in WWE.
Story. Matt versus Jeff, Taker versus Kane, Edge versus Christian, but take it back to the start and you will find Bret and his brother Owen. Holders of the crown of best opening match in WrestleMania history, matters had been escalating since Survivor Series through the Royal Rumble, and they weren't yet settled with Owen's win at WrestleMania 10. Bret winning the WWE Championship later in the show didn't make Owen feel like the most important part of the night, and he just wouldn't stand for that, winning King of the Ring and being his entertaining Owen Hart self until he and Bret met once again, this time in a steel cage match at SummerSlam 1994. There weren't very many long-term stories culminating at SummerSlam back in those days, and I suppose one could have put The Undertaker versus quote-unquote The Undertaker on this list, but one would have to have different tastes in wrestling than I. Could have said something negative there, but I'm working on it. Number 3, Triple H versus The Rock versus Kurt Angle, 2000. Now,
Wrestling with Regret just did a review of this show, and I forgot the fact that this match, I keep talking about the match more than the build, because I remember matches more than builds. All I know is about this was Kurt Angle planning a kiss from Stephanie and when she was half conscious, which I'm pretty sure is like sexual assault. But also what I do remember is Kurt also got concussed during this match, like right off the bat in the match, and then they had to kind of work around Kurt Angle's insane concussion.
granted, The Rock, the WWF champion, the biggest star in the industry at the time, was absolutely the third wheel in his own SummerSlam main event. That being said, the remaining 2 wheels made up one of the best storylines in WWE history. Well, maybe like 3/4 of a great story. They were almost there, which means I get to be 3/4 positive for this one. The Triple H, Kurt Angle, Stephanie McMahon love triangle could be looked at as the peak of WWE's soap opera and spandex style of storytelling, with everyone playing their roles to perfection and a wrestling belt drifting in and out of focus. Is the actual pay-per-view cycle prior to SummerSlam 2000 actually messy as hell? Absolutely. Did they botch the end of the storyline beyond belief because of Triple H's ego? Unquestionably. But this storyline playing out over the course of the summer was the best story of WWE's most consistently great year, and if I had a TV and a credit card in 2000, you can bet my 3.5-year-old ass would have bought this pay-per-view because of it. Number 2, The Fiend versus Finn Balor.
I don't know on that one. I don't think the Fiend doing it, Bray Wyatt doing the Firefly Funhouse is because the Fiend Finn Balor storyline didn't start until like a few weeks before SummerSlam. I don't know if that's fair to say that the build was great towards it. I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
2019. And now for something completely different. I maintain that the only reason people wet themselves over the thought of The Fiend was this period of time. And also the Firefly Funhouse match, yes, that too. But really, it is this build-up and this payoff. It had been some time since we had seen healed Bray Wyatt teaming with Matt Hardy in 2018, and when we got to the spring of 2019, most of WWE was pretty terrible, and amidst the mess was a brand new Bray Wyatt character. A much more different version of the character than we had seen before. I thought Matt was supposed to be the broken one. Every week, the Mr. Rogers Bray would let audiences in little by little, and then boom! Scary clown demon. Hands up if you expected that. We were then shown flashes of the Fiend, not enough for us to get a eye ache looking at him with an incessant red light, just glimpses, so when it came time for the Fiend to actually do the wrestle, everyone was incredibly intrigued by what we were going to see. It genuinely is mind-blowing to think that this build, full of subtlety, nuance, and patience, was taking place the same time as shit like this, or this, or this, or this, or this. Whoa, okay, too much negativity even for me. Let's go out on the highest of notes, only positivity from here on out. And number 1, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels.
The best. One of the best matches in SummerSlam history. How the fuck did Shawn Michaels come back from injury doing this type of shit? How?
2002. Is this storyline wacky? Of course, and I do not at all feel inclined to take points away from a pro wrestling grudge match for being wacky. Some people have ring rust after being away for a couple of months with an injury, and then there's Shawn Michaels, who can step back into a WWE ring for the first time in 4.5 years and be the best in the business. One of a kind. The anticipation of HBK's first match back was palpable, brought on by the incredible work done by Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and everyone else involved to make Shawn seem as believably close to permanent injury as possible, while in reality, yeah, he was alright. And all of that isn't even
This match itself deserves all credit to JR. Jim Ross deserves way more credit than anyone else, I feel, with this match itself. And maybe for the actual storyline itself, because Jim Ross helps carry the permanent pain of Shawn Michaels so damn well.
Considering the mountain of history shared between Trips and HB Shizzle. The countless layers of real and kayfabe love and heat between them, making for maybe the most hotly anticipated SummerSlam match of all time. And again, I must reiterate that this was Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement. And it was good! Unlike that other time! And that's our list. Make sure, of course,
Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought of this in the comments. Let me know what your favorite SummerSlam build was in WWE history. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.